If you've been constantly searching and looking for the best budgeting app to finally stop overspending, feeling anxious about how you spend, and just finally solve all of your money problems, well, you're doing it wrong. Trust me when I say that I have tried all kinds of budgeting apps to finally fix my shopaholic tendencies before, or feeling guilty and then deprived when it comes to saving and spending my money. Budgeting apps did not solve that. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 3 reasons why budgeting apps are really not sustainable from my experience and what I did instead to save consistently and hit my 500k savings. What's up guys, it's Nick. As you know, I'm a recovered shopaholic, now a money mindset coach, empowering working professionals to fund their dreams into reality. So in my experience of like 6 years of trial and error to finally stick to the right sustainable money habits and coaching my clients as well to do the same, budgeting apps are not part of the equation. I realized most of the time we may overcomplicate things for ourselves, trying to track every single expense from the banana queue we just bought to how much we spent on Grab taxi or transportation, when it just overwhelms us even more and makes us feel even more anxious if we're spending right, saving right, and so we are doing the complete opposite of feeling in control of our finances. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the simple solution that I was able to implement in my life that allowed me to save consistently, and how I coach my clients as well. So if you want to continue learning from my financial journey, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel because I do have a new video every single week. Now let's get into this video. Number 1 reason why I stopped using budgeting apps is because it's just too time consuming and it feels restricting. Alam mo yung feeling na para kung finance police to myself, making sure like, na-check off mo ba lahat ng mga ginastos mo today? Nilista mo ba yun? Nilagay mo ba sa app? Kasi pag di mo nilagay sa app, baka ano mangyari sa'yo? Baka mag-overspend ka, baka hindi ka mag-stick sa savings mo. And so as a result, I really had this love-hate relationship when it came to money. I was looking at the pie graph if I was sticking to my desired percentage of like my wants, of my living expenses, because I've been living alone, and then if I'm sticking to my desired savings. So it just really made me feel more anxious and overwhelmed to make sure that I was spending every single peso the right way. Totoo talaga yung sinabi ko guys, na literal na yung 15 pesos na banana queue, I would still put it in the budgeting app, and I would even take picture of receipts of the things that I bought and putting it into the app. And it's just too time consuming. And instead of you feeling like excited to check your expenses, you're gonna dread it eventually because you're like, here I am again. I have to take pictures of receipts. I have to make sure I log all of my expenses today. I have to make sure that on weekend, instead of like relaxing and recharging, I now dread and don't want to look at my expenses because it just takes so much time. And guess what? If you're dreading it, you're gonna end up avoiding it, and then you're gonna go back to the old cycle of your toxic habits of overspending, not checking, bahala na, basta I'm enjoying, or basta may tatabi akong 500, okay na yun. Basta may tatabi akong somehow an amount, basta may natitira somehow sa bank account ko, masaya na ako. That's when we get stuck in the short-term thinking and just survival mode. And when we are stuck in survival mode, we just give in to like short-term rewards. Pwede to, basta enjoy ako in the moment, but we don't think about how about our bigger dreams in life that give us lasting freedom, lasting happiness, lasting joy, lasting calmness, lasting contentment in our lives. We forget about them because we are stuck in survival mode. And here's the thing that I learned in understanding the science of the mind in my coaching training is that your brain follows the path of least resistance. Your brain follows the path of least resistance. Ibig sabihin, if you are constantly resisting na, I need to track my expenses again, if you're constantly dreading opening that budgeting app because you're gonna look at, oh my gosh, did I overspend? Oh my gosh, did I do things right? If you're constantly resisting the act of doing something, you're gonna end up not doing it because your brain's like, don't do that anymore, just enjoy, it's okay, just spend the money that you have, you worked hard for it, you deserve it. Your brain follows the path of least resistance. So this is ultimately why budgeting apps didn't work for me. And also when I coach my clients, they come to me with that same problem. I thought if I have the app, if I have the money tracker, if I have the perfect app with the highest reviews, then it would solve all of my overspending problems or feeling guilty about spending. That's why when I coach my clients, I help them create a simple financial system that they can easily stick to, that they're excited to open, that they're excited to stay on track and follow, because that's the only way your brain's gonna be like, good job. Like, that is so easy to follow, that is so easy to stick to, let's do that. Let's keep doing that every month because it seems like it only takes you a few minutes to do it. It doesn't overwhelm you. It actually excites you. It motivates you to stick to it. Let's do that. If you want to get an idea of how simple I started off my expense tracking, you can check the link below. It's completely free that you can download. It's an Excel sheet, and I don't use budgeting apps. I do a simple, very, very simple and straightforward Excel sheet. I actually use Google Sheets also so that I can easily access it online whenever I want to. So that's the simple basic skeleton that I started off with, and then I tailor fit it based on my goals, my priorities, what milestones do I want for my life. And that's ultimately how I coach my clients, is that their financial system is very, very much unique to them and what their priorities are, what their income status is, what their desired the lifestyle is, in such a way that they get to stick to the right spending and saving habits that feel good to them, and it's not something that they dread and resist doing every single month. Second reason why I stopped budgeting apps, and this is where we get deep real quick, is that you can't solve an inner problem with an external solution. The thing about all these budgeting apps and money trackers and all these money hacks, these are just all external solutions. But here's the thing, external solutions work when you've already solved the inner problem. Budgeting apps is not gonna solve the feeling of, I don't have direction in my life, so that's why I really don't know where my money is going. Or budgeting apps trying to track all of your expenses is also not gonna solve the feeling of, I just like wake up with no purpose and emptiness every day, so might as well spend on what I want to make me feel good at the moment. All those things that I just shared earlier, those are inner wounds, inner problems that we think that a budgeting app, a money tracker is gonna fix that. But as you can tell, it does not connect. It's completely different situations. So for me, in my experience, instead of thinking about the best budgeting hack, the best saving challenge, the best saving hacks and all of that, I needed to reflect and pause within myself, like, how is shopping becoming a coping mechanism for the lack of purpose in my life? Or am I giving into short-term rewards because I feel like my big dreams just seem far away? But then, if I just buy this thing right now, it's gonna make me feel good, but the big dreams I want, they're too far off. Maybe they're just too impossible. So why am I gonna save up for that? The problem wasn't the lack of like, oh, making sure I have a financial system, making sure I track every single expense, making sure that I'm on top of every single time I spend something. That wasn't the problem. The problem was, I didn't know the purpose behind saving and spending my money. You might be thinking like, oh, is it just to, pay the bills and, just make sure we survive? That's when we settle for less. For example, so what I realized with my experience in coaching my clients is that a money problem, such as maybe if your debts are piling up, if you have problem overspending or spending on the right things, or your challenge saving consistently, those money problems are just symptoms of a deeper underlying root problem. And that root problem, it's up to us to figure out. It's up to us to reflect on. We can't Google that stuff. We can't Google like the root problem of, oh, maybe growing up my parents never taught me about money, so I keep blaming them. That's why I'm not good at money now. I blame them because they had problems growing up with money, and so I always felt like I'll always have problems with money. Like, those are deeper root problems that we can't just type on Google and the answer is just gonna come out. That budgeting app is gonna solve it for us. It doesn't work that way. If that root problem can only be solved if we look inward, if we do the inner work to figure out, like, when did I decide that buying stuff is only gonna make me happy? When did I decide that no matter how much I earn, it will never be enough? When did I decide that I'll never be good at money because my parents never taught me that? And that's really why I love coaching my clients in getting deep into reframing their stories and beliefs that they grew up with about money. Because these are things that we have believed as facts. That's why I really love coaching my clients to reframe these limiting beliefs around money, really solve it to the root problem and not settle for external solutions, because those will not fix the cycle of the toxic habits, the cycle of overspending. Take it from me, who had those shopaholic tendencies, and I felt like I had to do all of the budgeting apps, do all of the expense tracking, but those just are in the surface. We need to see what's underneath the surface, and that's where all the real fears and the beliefs that we grew up with that are subconsciously dictating how we should spend, how we should save, and how and why we are feeling stressed about money. If you want to learn more about how I help my clients unlearn these limiting beliefs about money so they could stop the cycle for good, may it be the wrong spending habits, piling up debts, feeling anxious and stressed about money, and actually create their own version of financial freedom, then you can check the link in my bio on my one-on-one coaching program, Fund Your Freedom. You can get inspired by my clients who are now thriving and funding their dreams because they have easy to follow systems financially, and that also allows them to feel more in control of how they choose to spend, how they choose to invest and save their money in such a way that it brings them a step closer to funding their dreams into reality. Third reason why budgeting apps did not work for me and why I stopped using them is because there's just no clear action steps. Think of it. This is also like what my clients realize, when they come to me, when they started using these budgeting apps, hoping it would fix, the gaps in their finances, was that, okay, I tracked how much I spent on food, how much I spent on things. Now what? Okay, now I see I'm overspending. Now what? Okay, so now I see I don't have anything left for savings after tracking it for the past month. So now what? What's gonna be my action step from this? And that's the problem when we're so focused on the how when we're not even clear on the why. We're focused on how to track, how to budget, how to make sure we have a financial system, but we are not clear on why we do things. Let me quote my client Liz, who really said it perfectly. After graduating from my program, and when we focused on really the why and then the how, this is what she realized, is that the problem is not the how, like how to budget, how to track, but with the why. Why are we saving and spending in the first place? You might be thinking like, oh Nick, it's to save for the future, right? It's to feel secure. Those are vague. Those are very vague. Because remember, if your brain's like, meh, it's not really that important. I mean, if you could just check out this thing that's shiny and cute, or, just do that instead. If you're not clear and concrete and specific on your why, the how can easily crumble and you just don't stick to it. That's why budgeting apps are not the solution. They're just a tool. They're not the ultimate solution. It's important that we start first with getting clear on our life goals, our priorities, our vision, our mission for our life, and then we see how money can bridge that for us. That's literally how I coach my clients, is that we get clear on what do you truly want out of life that gives you that freedom, that happiness, that contentment. And then we work backwards from there. How can money work to your favor? What I love helping my clients with is for them to get crystal clear on what their priorities are that stays true to who they are. And then from there, it's gonna be so easy to spend on their terms. Sometimes we get stuck on Googling things or searching for things, but the best answers come from you. Like, that's why I encourage my clients to open up, share about their struggle, share their fears about money, share what they want to get out of money, because that's where the real solution comes from. They realize like, oh, there's actually this opening, this promotion in my company that I could just say yes to, and that will give me that salary increase that will help me save faster. Or maybe, you know what? Like, if I decide to say no to this opportunity, it will make room for me to focus in this business that I want to do full time. Or maybe that thing that I've been investing on monthly, I don't even know for what purpose that is. I don't even understand it. So that's not my priority right now. My priority now is that I want to make sure I save consistently so that I feel secure and calm that when I need something, I've been prepared for it. These are the things that I train my clients to figure out on their own, for them to be empowered to stand on their own feet, for them to decide on their own that, yeah, that is the right money decision. If you want to learn more about this topic, then you can check out this video on common money advice I stopped following and stopped listening to, because that freed me and allowed me to consistently hit my savings target and build my 1M net worth today. So I will see you there.